putting it
Childhood.
together like that. Yeah. So they're in there. I'm again. Glad to meet you all. Colonel John James Thornton. Colonel coming from the Civil War. I spent time in Ohio, where I was born and raised. My wife was from Pennsylvania, and now I'm imagining that that's where I did my service, was out of Ohio, and because it was long over by the time I got to Minnesota. And so I would have spent my time, it said in the literature I was a gallant officer. And that's basically all I kind of had to go on in that. But
You were what? Pardon?
gallant officer. Yeah. Gallant officer of the Union. And got married out there to Harriet, and then we made our way here in 1871, arrived in this area, and I was the first lawyer, passed the bar in Minnesota and became the first lawyer in Whatcom County. And as I've been speaking to the different groups today, it's been like this give and take kind of thing, and we've kind of figured out, you know, it's like this puzzle. It's turned out to be kind of fun. And most of my career would have been spent dealing in the courthouse in Adelia, because the courthouse here didn't get built until 1897. Is what I was doing. And so I would have spent like the last 4 years of my career here in St. James dealing in the courts here, but most of it would have been over in Adelia, which would have been a trek you know, in the early days, especially. So did lawyering for 30 years, public defender for 4 years, and also postmaster under Grover Cleveland for 4 years. So got to know a lot of people. There's not a whole lot in the literature about him being famous or kind of maybe a local fame and being called on to speak, that kind of thing. But I got and said in there that he was a staunch Democrat and believed in equality of the law, that kind of a thing. And so this is almost a little odd. And so one of the theories that we've kind of arrived at today is that the reason for the mausoleum and the kind of ostentatious presentation here, and also buying up all the lots so no one would be buried near. There were 16 plots here that were that he bought so that nobody else could buy them and be buried near them. But maybe having to do with grief over the loss of 4 children, something like that, who passed away before them, and then also making spots for themselves to be in here as well, so they could all be together in their own private spot. One idea, not sure. Also, I had the idea that maybe Harriet, since he passed away first, and they were probably, you know, they were well-to-do, whether or not they were staunch Democrats, equalitarians, whatever, but still had enough money to deal with something like this in his passing, and you know, built something of quality that would last. She was a Order of the Eastern Star. We've got evidence of that over here. He was a Mason, which is the brother and sister part of that. We've been able to piece that together. Born in 1840, died in 1915. It's hard to read the last number when you peek through the window. It looked like 1915 or 1918, and one of the historical people said it would have had to have been 1915 because there's a book at the Historical Society that lists him as dead in 1916. So it would have been 1915. So I made it to 75 years old. Not too bad for back then.
Yeah.
Is that a concrete behind the wrought iron? So it can never be opened?
Looks like marble.
It's got a key.
It is a key.
Yeah. There was some speculation about who would have the key.
And is that door metal?
It looks like it's
Marble from here.
Oh, marble.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's stone.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, take a peek in the wall.
So you and your 4 children and wife are here?
Yep.
And it's listed on
It
the
would be interesting to open it, and then you could read all the inscriptions. You can't quite see what's.
So you don't know who
What's
has
on
the
top?
key?
No
huh?
family nearby?
Apparently there was a visit by someone who owns land still by LaSalle, but lives away. I don't think anyone in. I think anyone in the area.
And it looks like it was stained glass window.
How can you see anything? You must
Yeah.
have their light the right day, right?
You'd have to have some sunlight or a flashlight or something. You sure can't see much. Well, it looks like it was stained glass window. And the windows are
It looked like the windows. The windows.
What do you think? Glass, dark. Well, you can
Because
see.
it's plexiglass now.
Or two on each side. Three on each side.
Two abreast and three deep.
It's clear here.
The glass is laying in, so just weather let it break apart from the
Right there.
soldering.
The lead
on the
let
cut
go?
glass. Yeah, the lead let go.
You stayed up at the you can see more from this side than you
Yeah, you can't see
Interesting
anything
to know
on the
the
other side.
real story behind building such a monument.
Is it just simple that he had a grand idea?
They bought 16 plots. And Chantal.